Homework must turn off this. Okay. So yesterday, by the way, if you turn your screen on, it's not an Avera. It's great to get some feed off of your energy. So if you're not embarrassed to put your screen on, please be generous. Okay. There you go. Thank you. So yesterday we were analyzing the various impacts of the tzaddik, the yashar, and the chassid, and what we've discovered was that the tzaddik causes an impact in heaven through his efforts, but it's more like a forced change, kind of like a human being forcing himself to do something he doesn't want to do. Then there's a higher level of tzaddik, a yashar, who causes a unique pleasure to Hashem by causing someone who is not knowledgeable in Torah to become, to appreciate Torah and to appreciate Hashem. In the language of the Talmud, to bring something beautiful out of someone who was previously not beautiful. This causes such a satisfaction to Hashem that Hashem says, I will nullify my decree for your sake. Then there is the higher level where Hashem doesn't just say, I'm going to nullify my decree for your sake, but Hashem says more. Hashem says, you will say A and I will say B. What I say will not exist, and what you say will exist. You say will happen. So we learned that the impact of this third level of tzaddik is not really called even an impact. It's more like, because his service of Hashem is beyond himself, he forgot about himself, just thinking about what Hashem wants. So he connects to Hashem himself, or the language of Chassidus over here, to the way godliness is in Pnimius Atik, the essence of godliness as it's revealed in Pnimius Atik. And because he connects to this level, from this perspective, of this, of an vantage point of the essence of godliness, in the language of the Zohar, Les asar ponim minei, there's no place void of him. All there is him. So since all there is him, so you cannot say that there is a decree and the decree is impacted and it's changed. All there is Hashem. All there is him. So it's not like there is a desire of Hashem that causes Hashem to override what he built in creation. There is a pleasure of Hashem which causes him to, which animates all of creation differently, and therefore things change. Rather, from the perspective of the in-dimension of Atik, all there is him, and therefore you cannot say that there's an impact, that there's a change. All there is him to begin with. So it's as if there never was a decree. When we're talking about touching the inner dimension of Atik and how that causes a change in the decrees of Ishtalshalos, of what was happening by the angelic beings in the heavenly court, it's not even called a change. Rather, the appropriate term to say is there never was a decree in the first place. So I know that this was a little bit of a difficult paragraph, and I don't know if we're going to get it closer if we do it again. Certainly, it's a good thing to do. But for right now, let's go to Ois Tes, and we're going to see how these three kinds of godly energy also have an impact on the world in different ways, or a non-impact in the world in different ways. Let's go to Ois Tes. The difference between these three kinds of divine flow: arich, which is desire; atik, which is pleasure, but the external level of pleasure; and pnimius atik, the inner dimension of atik, which we said is the essence of godliness, also impacts the way things are refined and elevated in the world. The way arich, the way the level of the crown, the desire of Hashem, when that's revealed, what that causes in the world is that the world, so to speak, disintegrates. The world stops being what it is, and it absorbs, or it is moved in the face of this higher kind of revelation. And it's not that it chooses to be closer to Hashem, closer to the truth, Rather, it is chosen. The revelation of Hashem impacts it such so that it loses itself in the face of this revelation, and it's kind of like perhaps like the story of the 10 Makkahs, the 10 plagues in Egypt, where they are shown Hashem's hand, or perhaps even in our own lives, when you see a miracle of Hashem, and it's just something that Hashem shows you and it moves you, and it's not something that you chose to be moved by, but you were moved. It's just something that Hashem has shown you. Perhaps it's also like, okay, let's see. I think you get the point. Gam la'achrabir, so even when the tachton, when the lower kind of being, the world, in this is impacted by this revelation, it's not that the world has changed. Rather, the reason why the world isn't defying godliness, the world's not opposing godliness, is not because there's an inner change. Rather, it's only because of the light. There's no change intrinsically. It's not that there's now a new awareness, a new acknowledgement, a new appreciation. It's rather this light of Hashem is revealed, and therefore the world is moved in the face of this revelation and is swept away by it. But there's no inner change. It's just from something otherly, so otherworldly, that is impacting it. When there's a revelation of Atik, that's different. That does cause a change in the world itself. Why? What is Atik? Atik means pleasure. When God's pleasure is revealed in the spiritual cosmos, that causes a change in the spiritual cosmos. Why? When there is a revelation of Atik, since pleasure, just by a human being, your pleasure is what makes you tick. So if there is a new flow of godly pleasure throughout the spiritual cosmos, so then what happens is to all beings, all creatures in the world, is that they are affected by this revelation, and they are not changed because of something otherly. Rather, they feel an affinity and a closeness to godliness. The revelation of Hashem's pleasure is revelation of your own vitality. In other words, when you feel I think the analogy, I think I spoke about this last week, right? About how I felt myself, about how I went to yeshiva and I felt like I enjoyed the yeshiva, and then I knew I changed. I knew that I liked this stuff, versus when I was trying to escape whatever inner demons I was trying to escape, I was forcing myself. It wasn't me. When I started to have a geschmack and I started to enjoy it, this is me, I like this. So when Hashem reveals his pleasure in creation, imagine if we would feel God's pleasure from our mitzvahs. So it wouldn't be that we have to force ourselves to do the mitzvahs anymore. If you feel God's pleasure in the mitzvahs, so then naturally you want to do the mitzvahs. If God's pleasure is revealed in the entire spiritual cosmos, so then there is a natural draw to godliness. It's not that we have to, if Hashem does a miracle, so then his miracle makes us override what we want to do, what we think we should do, and the miracle impresses us and changes us for momentarily to acquiesce to his desire. Versus if we feel pleasure in godliness, Hashem reveals his pleasure, that makes us tick differently. Then we like this stuff. It's kind of like the difference between, in the analogy before, of leaving Mitzrayim versus Kriyas Yamsuf. You can leave Mitzrayim, but Mitzrayim's still chasing after you. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, you may go out of your own limitations and decide to do what Hashem wants, but it's not you. But when you enjoy Torah mitzvahs, that's you. So, Maamar being Birsha de Gilish Sher de Shema, the Gilish de Shema who gil the Atik, Shagilish Mashchalava and Sutzis, Megumus Avuka, Shmeshlan Sutzis. In the time of Shlomo HaMelech had the revelation of Atik, of God's pleasure. That revelation caused that sparks of godliness throughout the world were drawn to Shlomo HaMelech. For example, the queen of Sheva, she came herself to Shlomo HaMelech, and Many other people wanted to be Jewish and wanted to be close to Hashem because of the revelation of Shlomo Melech. What was the revelation like? It was like a torch. The Chassidus says a torch has a gravitational pull on sparks. If there's a match that's next to a torch, the fire in the match is drawn to the torch. So the light of Shlomo Melech drew to it the sparks of holiness throughout the world. Since the revelation of godliness was in a way that they were drawn to it, so it's not that they were impacted from something outside of themselves, only rather they were drawn to it. In the time of Shlomo Melech, the revelation was in a way that, like the revelation of Atik, revelation of Hashem's pleasure, which caused everyone to want to be close to Hashem, want to be close to Shlomo Melech, want to be where they want to be with Hashem, want to be with Torah mitzvahs.
May I ask a question, Rabbi?
Go ahead.
What about when you don't want to? So I've got a friend of mine who davens 3 times a day, and with my friend, he doesn't feel like it, particularly in the afternoons and the evenings. Morning he's fine, but in the afternoon it's like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I know that in the Tanya, the davening without kavana is only going to, stay stuck in this world and not going to make up to Bria. But with my friend, it's like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to just do it quickly. And my heart's not in it. I mean, my heart is in it. But anyway, what should I tell my friend? Because he doesn't enjoy it, you're mentioning. Sorry?
Do you speak to your friend often?
Sometimes. I'm a bit harsh with him. When I speak with him, I give him a hard time often. So
let's start off with this.
I can pass the message on, though. I can pass the message on.
I put on tefillin with someone yesterday, and he made the bracha L'Halik Ner Shel Shabbos Kodesh on the tefillin. And that doesn't really shock me, because a lot of people, that's the only bracha that they know. But a friend of mine told me another more impressive thing. He said that this lady went to the opera, and she met someone at the opera, and one of the singers she was very impressed with, and the singer Rabbi Savatitsky in Belgium, he said the story. He said that this person who was in the opera met one of these singers, and the singer, she was so impressed with the singer, so she said, "What can I do for you? I want to give something to you." So the singer said, "Well, if you could arrange, I can go to a Shabbos meal. That would be something special. I remember my Bubby's Shabbos meal, that was special. Can you try to find someone who will invite me?" Okay, so they invite her, and they explain, what the Shalom Aleichem means, the Yeshus Chayil, and the Kiddush, and the wine, and the Challah. And then they get to washing their hands for the meal. And when they get to washing hands for the meal, they told her, now we're going to say a bracha. Oh, a bracha, I know what it is. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu lahadlik ner Chanukah. That's the bracha shinu. Lahadlik ner Chanukah. There's something about Chanukah that allows us to that's very Jewish. I mean, we find people that even Yom Kippur necessarily they don't identify with, but it's Chanukah. Chanukah is something which touches everyone. Chanukah is the most famous, most impactful Jewish holiday that's in the front of everyone's face. I want to tell you a story with the Rizhner. Rizhner Rebbe had a chassid who had some difficulty controlling his thoughts, and he just felt like he was always doomed to be this way. And the Rizhner Rebbe would light the menorah publicly, and he came out to light the menorah, and he said that Chanukah is a time of Geula, Chanukah is a time of redemption, and the first thing that a Jew has to know about redemption is they're able to be free. And a Yid who has a challenge, he has an inner challenge in himself, he has to know, I'm able to be free. So step one is to know that we are the many against the few, and there's the strong against the weak. But the Jewish people are those who don't have any idea how this little bit of oil is going to keep on burning. How is your friend going to daven Ma'ariv tonight if he wasn't interested yesterday and you have to push himself without any, how is he going to do it? But a Jew is somebody who goes and he lights him in the area, has no idea how it's going to continue burning, and he keeps on burning, and eventually Chanukah, Lahalik Ner Chanukah, something shifts. But the the very first thing we have to know is that this is us. This we can be free. Also, Marcus, I want to tell you one more thing for your friend. This isn't so relevant, but as we're learning,
if you're saying it, it's always relevant.
It says this the part I wanted Mordechai to hear by the Fabrengan on Shabbos, but he ran away, and now I think he ran away again. Okay, what happened was it says that when Moshe Rabbeinu was by the burning bush.
Froze.
I'm frozen. Am I frozen? I'm not frozen. Marcus, I'm not frozen. Maybe you're frozen. Marcus. Okay, there you are. So, Mordechai is back. Okay, great. So,
missed it. Okay.
You know how much trouble I got in for being 30 minutes late, huh? Don't even get me started.
So, basically, what happened was that Moshe Rabbeinu is introduced to Hashem in this burning bush. And the bush is burning, the thorn bush is burning, and it does not get consumed. And Moshe Rabbeinu is told by Hashem, take your shoes off your feet. The place you're standing is holy. The burning bush, say the Chassidic masters, is the animal soul. A Jew tries to serve Hashem, tries hard to serve Hashem, and nothing changed. The same animal soul, nothing shifts. The guy listens to the first segment of my response to you and like, okay, I'm going to go do this. And nothing happens. Nothing happens. And he is wondering what's going on. He puts on the fire. He tries to daven mincha. He tries to put his heart in the mincha, and then again in the mire, again in the shachas, again and again and again, and nothing changes. So God tells Moshe Rabbeinu, if you see a Jew, they're fighting with their animal soul, and nothing shifts. The more nothing changes, Moshe Rabbeinu, you should know, the more you should know, you can take the shoes off your feet. This is the holiness that I want in the world. This is what life is all about. This is the holiest thing that there is. The holiest thing that there is. I know you say it in Tanya, it says that when you pray without kavanah doesn't reach the world of Bria. But the kind of godliness it brings to this world is unparalleled. When a Jew prays, doesn't want to pray, it brings a different kind of light. It's more of a sharp, piercing light, not a pleasant, natural light, but a higher, deeper light that is elicited when we don't want to daven. And the more you don't want to daven, and more that every day there's nothing changing, the more there is admas koideshu. This is holy soil. Sha'alna alecha mal raglecha. Take your shoes off your feet, Moshe Rabbeinu. This is something special. Okay. So there is someone. Let me mute somebody because someone has a background noise. Okay, that was just Marcus trying to make waves. All right, fine. So there is a change that's accomplished through arich, so a divine revelation that's beyond the world that changes the world. But it doesn't cause an inner change. It's just that right of Hashem that makes us impressed by it. But the magic stops and it's over. Then there's a revelation of Shlomo HaMelech. The revelation of Shlomo HaMelech is so impactful, and all the sparks of holiness throughout the world are drawn to Shlomo HaMelech. Next, last line of the page. Since the level of Atik, as we learned yesterday, what does Atik mean? Atik means it is detached, it is removed, it is far away. So it is a lofty, higher kind of revelation, and it does cause incredible inner change in the world when it's revealed. But it's still something other. It's still something distant, something which is beyond the spiritual cosmos that's impacting the spiritual cosmos. So therefore, even though it's drawing me to it, and I want to go there, but I'm going there because of Atik. It's kind of like in the beginning of a Baal Tshuva's journey, you start doing mitzvahs and you start liking them, but you still feel like, this ain't me. I'm doing this, but this ain't me. And Yonathan's thinking, did you say the beginning of a Baal Tshuva's journey? First of all, how would you know Yonathan's thinking? And second of all, when does the fun start? Ubitter, Shagil Pimis Atik, Kimshim Pimis Atik, who B'chos Atzar and Sof, the Gabi Atzar and Sof, and Shach Shtush Chutzmenu, Adam Mitzvah Matzis Baruch Hu Matzis Chol Mitzayim. When the inner dimension of Atik is revealed, since Atik in general is the essence of godliness, the essence of godliness was learned yesterday. There's nothing besides him. On the contrary, only from, as the Rambam says, only from the true creator, meaning the essence of Hashem, can everything else exist. So when the Atik is revealed, what happens, everyone feels that I myself am godly. It's not that I feel that I have pleasure in godliness only because something is happening. Rather, since Atik is the essence of godliness, when Atik is revealed, all there is him. Primius Atik, the inner dimension of Atik, is the essence of godliness. When the essence of godliness is revealed, all there is him. I don't know the answer to the question that I'm about to ask, but I think the question will highlight something. Everyone said the difference between the Jewish people's experience after Mashiach comes to non-Jews' experience after Mashiach comes is that when Mashiach comes, we're going to feel how there's nothing besides Hashem. But that won't make us feel, it won't make us feel uncomfortable. It won't make us feel not at home. On the contrary, we'll be at home with this experience because a neshama feels that. A neshama is at home with there being nothing besides Hashem. That's a neshama's natural place. A neshama identifies with, in other words, a Jew and Hashem are one. So when there's nothing besides Hashem, I'm still there because all there is Hashem and I'm one with Hashem. Versus, it says about non-Jews that when Mashiach will come, the revelation that there's nothing besides Hashem will somewhat uncomfortable. Like all there is him and I have to nullify myself before him. The Rebbe did say in another occasion that since the Rambam says that the truth of Hashem is the source of creation, therefore it's possible for there to be as we learned in the Sikha of Yitzchak Kislev, it's possible for a non-Jew also to understand the truth of Hashem on a higher level as well. Since the essence of everything in the world is godliness, is the essence of Hashem, therefore everything could identify, can connect with the highest level of understanding that there's nothing besides Hashem. We're all able to appreciate the truth of nothing besides Hashem. So, in short, Arich is revelation of a miracle, miraculous kind of revelation, something which shakes you and moves you, but when it goes away, you're lost because it's only because of the fireworks. Atik is a revelation of God's pleasure. You feel God's pleasure, you identify with it, you want to be there, but it's because of Atik. It's not because of you. It's somewhat being changed from something it's causing a change in you. Yes, there's a change in you, but something's causing a change. Atik is something other than you. But the essence of godliness, Hashem himself, is everything. When the essence of Hashem is revealed, there's no longer a you and a me and a us and a them and Hashem and the world. All there is him. And therefore, the change that is caused in creation isn't even caused. It's not called a change. It's just a revelation of truth. That I am Elokus, so that the world is Elokus, the world is godly. I don't know if this will help or this is even right, but let's try this. The 24th day of Kislev is associated with a lower level of revelation of godliness, because 24 is numerically equivalent to the letters of Baruch Shem, and 25 is associated with a higher revelation of godliness. That's why there's 25 letters in Shema. And in general, we know that the Baruch Shem is a lower level of God's unity. It's the way Hashem's unity is perceived from a lower kind of perspective, from a way Hashem's light is more hidden. And Shema Yisrael, the truth of Hashem that's encapsulated by the verse Shema Yisrael, is a higher level of God's unity. And that's why there's 25 letters, because 25 is a higher level of revelation. The 26th day of Kislev is associated with an even greater revelation. That's why 26 is associated with Yud Kei Vav Kei. 26 is numerically equivalent to Yud Kei Vav Kei. 24th day of Kislev, what happens then? Jewish people win a war against their enemies. They're holding their spears. They didn't have any elephants. The Greek army had elephants. But they fought. They fought a natural war. And the fact that they won is a revelation of Hashem. The revelation of Hashem that someone is filtered through the lens of nature. It's not really nature. I mean, imagine if Marcus and his friends decide one day they're going to take over, what's the name of that street over there with the 11, what's the name of that street? Buckingham Palace is on what street?
It's on the Mall or the Mall, Mall, as in like the Mall in Century City. Basically the same thing. Basically the Beverly Center. It's but number one, the Mel.
It's impossible to win this war. But nevertheless, that experience is still filtered through nature. And there's a high revelation, 25th day of Kislev, they find the one pure jar of oil. The one cruse of oil the Jewish people find, that is a revelation of a deeper truth of Hashem. That's a revelation of Yichudei Law, which is encapsulated in the first verse of Shema. The first verse of Shema, we're not talking anymore about just how Hashem is perceived from through Shem Elokim. We're talking about Yud Kei Vav Kei. Hashem Echad, God is one. Have the seven heavens in the world. That truth was expressed by the Jewish people discovering the one pure cruse of oil. The reason why that pure cruse of oil is such expression of such a lofty thing is not because of just the incredible miracle of it, but because the cruse of oil represents the light of Hashem that can never be extinguished. And no matter what darkness is in the world, that Hashem gives a person the ability to reach deeper and to banish that darkness. The one pure jar of oil, the Yud Vav Kei, the truth of Hashem Echad, as the Maccabim had on their shields, Hashem, who is there among the mighty Hashem? The Maccabim had this perception of the truth of Hashem, and that was expressed in the discovery of the pure jar of oil. The pure jar of oil, we could talk about a whole class about that, but let's suffice for our purposes now. It's associated with the revelation of Hashem Echad. The 26th day of Kislev, a new miracle happens. The fire of the menorah is now continuing on, and it's burning in a way that defies nature, and you're watching it and you're looking at it and you know something is happening that cannot happen. That revelation is associated with the first part of the pasuk of Shema Yisrael, not Hashem Echad. Hashem Echad is the truth of Hashem as He's seen in creation. Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem is our God, not the way Hashem is seen in creation, but the way a Jew recognizes the truth of Hashem beyond the truth of creation, the essence of godliness. That's what is revealed on the 26th day of Kislev. That's Hashem Elokeinu. That's Hashem, our God. Perhaps this is connected somewhat to what we're learning here today, that when there is a revelation of Pnimius Atik, when there's a revelation of the inner dimension of Atik, it is no longer a Hashem and the world, and there's a dissonance between creation and creator. At that level, a Jew just is enveloped by that experience in such a way that he feels that Hashem is our God. This is who we are. I don't know. That's just a conjecture, and the way I woke up this morning, and it may be totally off, but I think there's something about a higher revelation of godliness, of Yud Kei Vav Kei, of Chavav, that it's something that we could identify more with because it's something which is all-encompassing. It's an overt expression of godliness that, again, you have to be there. In short, what we learned today is that when the revelation comes from the essence of Hashem, it then no longer is something which is at a dissonance with creation. Rather, it is something that reveals how the world itself is godly. And I was guessing, and that may have something to do with the second day of Chanukah, but I could be totally off. Any other questions, comments?
Thank you. I'm going to re-listen to this to hear all the answers again.
Marcus, Yonatan.
Thank you very much. That's great. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Yontav Beryl, Yontav, I think iPhone might be Aryeh. Yontav Aryeh, Yontav David.
Answer.